Stand for the pledge of allegiance. That's our cue. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone for coming. First thing on the agenda is minutes from October 1st. Had a chance to review it. Scott and I have, we only had picked up on one thing on 9D. We authorized the grinding of Switch Road and River Road in preparation of paving, just
Reclaim,
reclaiming.
good grinding sometimes is just a surface.
Okay. Change that, reclaiming.
Full depth much.
Then we're to accept both.
Move to accept as
I'll second.
corrected.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mary Ann, you've got a finance update for us?
Yeah,
Ready when you are. Are you putting it up?
yeah. So I tried to keep this one short. We just wanted to get the board's approval on the departments that are looking like they'll overexpend, and then explaining that we'll have to draw on the tax anticipation note again. So the first slide, the 2024 year-end projection for our expenditure lines are looking to be around $200,000 of unspent money in all the accounts. And the balance includes planning to spend the additional 60,000 on sand and gravel, the 62,000 to regrind 2 roads. The contract appraiser is estimating to overexpend that line by 7,000. It looks like our legal line will probably come in around 20,000 overexpend. And
What was the budget on legal? Just probably you have it in front of you. You can look it up, but
I do not have it in front of me.
go ahead. Keep going.
We put aside the 12,000 for the meeting house grant. And we signed the order for police handguns for 13,000. So if accounting for all those things, we still have about 200,000 in unspent money. And most of that came from being so short-staffed. We had about $500,000 in unspent wages, insurance and retirement.
Okay, so we almost doubled our legal fee, which is probably a good thing because we didn't use the legal enough in the past. I don't think it's why we're in such trouble. So
Yeah, and basically we're rewriting so many different things
Yeah.
just to verify that we don't have anything out there. And a significant portion of that was for some of the real estate issues that we
Yeah.
had, so.
yeah, okay.
And then the next slide is the departments that look like they'll be overspent by the end of the year and would need board approval to overexpend when it gets to that point. The finance department is coming in about 7,000 overspent, and it's mainly due to the IT transition. The legal department, which we already covered, it'll be about 20,000 over. The highway department will be going negative, and it's mainly because the paving line, we spent 112,000 more on paving. The police department and the library, they'll be close, but might overexpend, and that was because we took the general government lines and split out like all the phone bills. Now
Yeah.
get charged to the department that uses those phone lines, cell phones. And it was just things that those departments didn't budget for. And then we'll have to draw on the tax anticipation note, so that line would go negative.
Do we have an idea of how much we're gonna pay for that interest only?
The interest will probably be around 5,000. The interest we paid the last time to draw on it was about 4,000
So 9,000 total
in interest.
for the year, or 5,000 total?
9 total.
Yeah.
Nine total.
And then the next slide's the cash flow. We will need to draw on the tax anticipation note. September 2023, the general fund had a balance at 2.37 million. At month end, September 2024, the general fund balance was 1.12 million. And those balances included the 10-1 tax payment. So the 2023 tax bills had a due date of December 11th, and the majority of the revenue last year came in the December weeks. So we'll need to make the November 1st and the December 1st full tax payment, as well as the December 1st county tax payment.
Yep.
So I think we might need to draw about $1 million to make the repayments, because we did bring in a bunch of revenue for the land use change tax.
And the other thing to keep in mind is last year, at this time of year, we still hadn't paid the paving project and some of the large projects, they were all paid in that December timeframe, so they're all paid at this time.
Yep.
And we had this put on the paving invoice last year,
Okay,
and that was it for this meeting.
any questions, guys?
No, I kind of got a rundown on it before.
All right, thanks, Carrie Ann.
You need a motion for the overexpending?
Not yet, they haven't gone negative.
Okay.
I
I just wanted to make sure. I just asked if you needed a motion for the estimates.
Still October.
I just asked a question. Because we're actually gonna, before we meet again, we'll have. That was
Yeah.
the reason for the.
So let's talk about that now, just jump in, because our next meeting is scheduled for voting day, so we're not gonna have a select board meeting, we're gonna not postpone it, we're just gonna cancel it. We need to decide on who's got coverage, Sandy can do either morning or midday, I prefer to do closing, but. Do you have a preference?
I can do midday if you want, if it's easier, whatever's easier for her.
So say you do 8 to 4. I mean, 8.
That's
8 to
okay.
4. What happens when you miss a meeting? Sadie will do 8 to noon, noon to 4, and it'll be 4 to 8. What's that?
November 19th be the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you let Leanne know that, please? Those times as well. Thank you. All right. Public records request for the reservoir boundary.
Yeah, we received a letter from Orr and Reno. It's an attorney. They don't mention who they represent, but they've asked for all documents, request all records, reports, documents, notices, communications related to the select board's proposal, approval, and implementation of the water line project, which relocated the Canaan Street Lake Reservoir intake. Additionally, requesting a copy of all records, reports, documents, notices, and communications relating to the location, placement, and movement of the Canaan Street Lake Reservoir boundary and the buoys used to mark the line. So I'm bringing this to the board's attention because it's a legal matter. We've had other ones that don't raise to that. But we found from our engineer, the protection and purity of Canaan Street Lake and its watershed, which was environmental DW.
Yep.
And it lists all of the items, and it actually calls out the location as to a stone jetty along lot 56-1, which we have located maps going back to 1977. We have a 1977 map, 87 map, and a current map. That shows the line at the intersection of the lake and the adjoining property with the person who's been concerned about the loss of the rights. So it doesn't appear that they have any, but the engineer is going to go out and survey it, and we're also going to provide all the documentation requested. But it's just an FYI that this request has happened and it's reached a level where we're getting letters from an attorney.
Okay.
Which might give us some clarification as needed.
Well, and actually, I think the reality is even though there's several lots for sale along that
That's what
section.
I'm saying.
And it's gonna
There's-
actually highlight and identify what the legal rights are.
That's what I'm saying. It
all of
should
that.
give us
Yeah.
clarification for some of the other activities that
Yeah.
are.
And then I should just go back to our previous voting day and just vote on that we should do the warrant for the vote too.
Yeah.
So on, from 8 to 7 to bring our votes for president, vice president, governor, United States representative, executive counselor, state senator, state representative, county officers, and to bring your votes for constitutional amendment. So we just need a vote that will be there and the town will be open for voting. So we have a motion on that, Scott.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
When you were talking about covering voting, you said till 8. And then you read that. You said-
Yeah, so the voting ends at 7.
Okay.
For the count, I usually stay around, so one of us should stay around. So-
One of us has to be here to verify and sign, we have to sign the seal for the vote, so.
So assessors contract renewal, annual renewal.
You skipped
What's up?
the planning board discussion.
On the master plan.
Hi, Corinne, sorry about that. So the planning board's been working on, I'll let you talk, but planning board's been working on the master plan and updating it. So Corinne's got a proposal from the planning board.
Yeah, so the planning board and specifically the master plan subcommittee is requesting $5,040 be related to the Upper Valley Lake Sunapee Regional Planning Commission helping us with phase 1. If you want me to break down run them down.
Yeah,
Okay, so the first task is the community survey, and that's going to cost $1,440. And essentially, they're helping us to, we've already written out the survey questions and everything. They're going to help us format that properly, and then they'll help us analyze the data that comes back from it. Following the survey, we'll host a community event to get additional feedback from the community about any, comments or concerns or anything that we missed in the survey. That'll be $960. And we're only going to have them help us with the first event to get kind of an idea of how to run that. And then we'll probably host at least 2 more community events after that without their assistance. They will analyze all of the results from the survey and the events that we host. That's an additional $960. Develop strategy for visioning is $800. That is detailed a little bit more in the printouts if you have questions, but it's basically looking at how we're going to bring the whole plan together to be cohesive at the end. We'll do a visioning event with the community again, with just a little bit of help from them for $480. And again, summarizing those results for $400. Included in this bid is an $800 fee for drafting the vision chapter, which we have decided we will not be asking for their help with. So that brings it from the $5,840 to the $5,040. These funds have already been delegated to the master plan subcommittee by the budget committee, but we're asking for approval to spend.
do we expect costs after that for the master plan to actually get it finalized, or is this a final, will bring us to a final?
No, this is
This
phase
is all-
1.
Yeah,
And then, so that's going to give us kind of jumping off point so that we'll be able to start actually putting all of the data together and writing, but we do expect there to be additional costs next year.
Yeah.
We'll be looking at, photography, we're doing a brochure to go with it to highlight the town. So when people are referencing our master plan, there should also be something that we can give to real estate agents. We can use it as part of the town to encourage more people to want to come visit our beautiful town and potentially move here, move business here. So we're hoping to use this also as part of the Economic Development Committee to, just increase
the vision.
the vision of what we're trying to do here. So this is, you know, certainly not a one and done proposal here, but it's going to get us really be able to kind of take off, and next year we should be in a good place to know.
Can we pay it out in steps, or are we paying it out all at once and then? You know that?
I'm not exactly sure how that works. I believe that we can discuss that with them. I think that we can absolutely do it in steps. Because, you know, it's going to be stretched out
Right,
quite a bit. So that is definitely something that I can work with you and the regional planning committee
Yeah.
about.
okay,
Yeah, because that would be my concern, pay for the services as rendered, not.
So I just need you to sign the copy that I gave you, and I will mail it to them. And Megan Butts will sign off on it, and then at that point, the survey goes out, so we should see that done before the end of the year. And then we'll have results coming in, so by January, I should be able to hit the ground running on getting all that data together and putting together.
appreciate all the help from you guys on this, so you want to make a motion on this, or
I move that we sign and proceed forward.
I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
My just question about that. Being as Dayton is a small town in a giant country. Funding. Research into how to bring more people into the community, et cetera. Have you reached out to other similar towns to ask them if they've done similar studies to get similar results?
Yeah, so the Upper Valley Lakeside Regional Planning Commission, they work with all of the surrounding towns, so they're
Just
able to
Georgia.
provide us with a lot of free information, which is really
Hold
nice
them
for this.
responsible.
And then part of what we do on the Economic Development Committee is meet with other towns to see what they're doing about economic development and how they're bringing people in. So this survey is a little bit more specific to people in Canaan. So we're borrowing a little bit from other communities and then targeting here just to see, you know, what do we really need to improve on? What does the community want to see with, you know, the next 10 to 15 years in Canaan? And I think the previous master plan was completed in 2019. No, it was
I think it was 2009, I think.
2009, so yeah.
I'm gonna say it's been a few
Giving
years.
more credit. So it's been quite a while since we have touched base with the community to see, you know, do you want to see renewable resources? Do you want to see, you know, where do you want the future of this town to go? And so hopefully we'll get some good feedback from the survey, and then we'll be hosting the event so that we can hear more from the community.
I was just gonna, the master plan is not anything brand new to the town. This is something that all your towns are supposed to have, and you update them. Generally, within every 10 to 15 years, you do an update on them. It's an ongoing project.
Okay.
We're just at that point where it needs to be updated again.
Thanks for the missing details.
Sure. Now the assessor's contract.
Yeah, we have the assessors renewal before the select board. And you have a letter also
Yep.
that came from the
Yep.
assessor that the assessing supervisor has changed. Person who was in that role is now just administrative fully. And Angela Silva will be the assessor supervisor, with Brandon still being the one that comes here.
Right,
It's a 3-year renewal. I just gave you the fee schedule again. It's basically 34,1 for the first year, and then a couple $1,000s more for each consecutive year, so. The select board can choose to move in that direction.
Have there been any other options?
Not at this time.
Because
The
I know
issue we
it's
have right now,
limited.
this is like probably the worst time to be making that shift. If we want to be making that shift, we want to start to look at it. Like if it's a conversation we want to have down the road. But after April 1st and after all of the appeals. You know, during the
Yeah.
summer is when you'd want to have an RFP out there or something like that, but right now it's not. We're signing a 3-year contract, but there is a
especially going to
Well, this is.
So we're going to a
we're
reassessment. It's like-
going in where we've already started the money raising.
Right. So I mean, it's, if we want to approach that, I would say this isn't the ideal timing.
No.
But it is something we probably should look at in the future and see where we are,
Yeah.
but given how every town is kind of in the same place where values
not.
change so much, there's like a shortage of assessors too,
Yeah.
so.
And as I understand, there's a shortage of assessing companies.
Yes.
yeah, correct, yeah.
No, it's just, yeah, and the whole thing is just a tough period of time for that.
Do you know what our 2024 rate was? What we paid this past year?
I don't off the top of my head.
Well, maybe on laptop.
It's a good thing I got a financial report right here. At 30,000, is that right? What's that?
That sounds right.
A big jump. Okay. Motion.
Move to accept the contract under the circumstances.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll sign just one of them for you. Yeah.
Don't pay him twice. And you were up?
All right, well, just a couple of things, in the light of always getting good news from the city of Lebanon. They're proposing a 15% increase in the tip fee, which will bring it up to $120. From last year, it was about 105, so we're going to see that, we're gonna be adjusting the budget related to that. On November 20th. They are going to have a hearing on setting the 2025 rates. And anybody is welcome to go there if you have any questions about that. But I have the complete list of adjusted fees and rates and things of
That'd
that.
be
but-
worth it for us to show up at that.
Yeah.
If you can make that in your schedule, because
Yep.
just show concern. I mean, like I said, this past year, they from 23 to 24, I think they went from 78.
73, I think it was.
73 or 78 up to 105,
One-
so,
Yeah, so it's a pretty big increase.
yeah. Every time we dump a dumpster from our.
It's
transportation-
$120 a ton,
They're bumping another 20%.
15%.
15. Yeah. I mean, granted, they went a couple of years at the 73 rate, but
Yeah.
they don't need to be.
Yeah, but we're looking at, right now, we're looking at 40% increase
Over 2 years. Yeah.
over 2
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
which is, they did this. I want to say probably 20 years ago, and everybody pulled out of Lebanon, but there were more options at that time.
Right.
And they dropped their rates back. That's the problem right now, is we don't have the options that we used to have.
So I just think it's worth it for us.
Yeah, no, I
Officially show up,
agree,
so,
to go and express the concern.
They don't provide any reason.
Just their costs of what, it's landfill, it's how much do they have left and what does it cost them? I mean,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
we're just on the side of the cost adjustment. And they're, the
So
only
they can
game in
finish
town.
paying for their methane generation system.
Well, that's what was it? I think it's it's up where the dump is up in northern Vermont. They actually had I think they filed a suit because they took all of the food waste out, so they weren't creating enough.
They're not
methane to
creating
raise
methane.
electricity.
Yeah.
So it actually started to cost them on the
And-
electricity side.
New Hampshire's gonna be doing the same.
Yeah, it's coming. It's just that,
Get your organic in there that helps create
the
the
methane,
methane.
yeah.
Why are they trying to get rid of it?
They want compost.
They want to compost
Well,
all the
Industrial
food
compost,
material.
but
But
They want the food matter out because that's what's causing all the methane problems. But Lebanon's currently still in the process, they're getting closer to running methane generation for power. At the same time, they're going to do what they did in Vermont, take out all the organics that help produce what they need. So it'll be
And,
interesting to
and
see.
the other side of that whole thing is they're also looking at landfill capacities and losing all the capacity. So anything you can take out of the stream is gonna increase
I
capacity.
think that's what originated.
Yeah, that, it was one of the big reasons, like, how, I saw the recycling, that was a benefit, but now most of the recycling ends up in landfills anyway, so. On another note, I received an email today, and it's just a topic of conversation, request about solar farms and do we have regulations? But there are people looking to create solar farms. And the question for the select board in the town of Canaan will be, is it something that we're going to want to manage in some fashion through an ordinance or whatever? It's something we need to have a conversation about. Just came today, so just an FYI.
That question is on the survey, but
Is it? Okay.
Kind of figured that was in the master plan.
So another item is the police grant for body worn cameras and cruiser cameras for $50,000.
Yep.
We've accepted that grant that we would have it, but the Department of Safety is requesting a new motion that clarifies that we're accepting the 50,000. And that we understand that everything outside of the 50,000 is our responsibility. So I drafted a potential motion that Stephen has to address that concern.
So the motion to accept the grant award of up to $50,000 for the Department of Safety for body worn cameras and cruiser cameras, and to acknowledge that any expenses for the project beyond the $50,000 is the responsibility of the town of Canaan. And I don't have it in front of me. Do we have an idea if what?
It's about 110
Right.
for everything.
Yeah. Okay.
110 to 120, it's in there. I can't remember the exact number.
Make a motion on that.
Move to accept.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And my final item just is an announcement, the water bills are ready to go out. These are the June 30th bills, but we also have the September 30th bills complete as well.
Okay.
So we're going to be sending out the June 30th, waiting a few weeks and then sending out so we will be caught up at that time.
I'll put some in the newsletter for Friday for that, Monica, because it's gonna. Tilt everybody on tilt, so.
Yeah, because we don't want to put them too far on tilt, the tax bill's going to be running out too.
Thanks, John.
So
Yes.
that is,
Why don't you just send them both out?
well, that's a question if.
Because if
So. yeah,
people
we
didn't
can
pay
save
in
on
June, they
postage.
know they gotta pay in June.
I mean, the fact is, we could just make it a 2-month, a 2 bill, if that's what you want to do. It's a question for the board.
I think I'd rather do that with an insert explaining what happened.
Okay,
With the lightning strike and everything else.
Okay.
You can sort of snowball the whole thing, so.
And then you can adjust the delivery date for the first one and then a little longer for the
Right,
second one.
let's put dates of when they're due. and-
Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay,
all right.
that sounds like a plan.
See, the issue is, you know as well as I do, if you know what your bill is coming, plan on it. But if they don't get the bill, there's still a certain amount of people that will just spend the money because they didn't get the bill.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
That is my last item.
We won't have to take a loan out. The school's bill will be that much higher. All right, and nothing else, Chad?
No, that's all I have tonight.
Other business, Mr. St. Pierre, hold on, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Jackson here. I'm a senior at Mascoma High School and I'm part of Troop 44. And I'm here to get approval from you guys for my Eagle Scout project, which would be building 2 picnic tables at the Depot Park and then cleaning up like any fallen debris and stuff around the area and the trash. And
What? Yeah. What kind of picnic tables are you gonna build and how big?
so we were thinking of using metal frames and then pressure treated wood, either staining it or painting it.
So most of the picnic tables in town, correct me if I'm wrong, get stacked up are you looking to keep them there through the winter or? So,
I haven't thought about that yet.
okay. I mean, I think they gotta be secured there somehow because we have a tendency to get them walked off with too, so.
Okay.
All right, just want to put that in your project, so.
Sure.
All right,
As I understand it from the old home days, the picnic tables at Williams Field are dilapidated. So could you replace those instead of putting it out in the Depot Park? I think you get more use if they're at Williams Field.
I don't know. I was talking to Tom Opel about it, with the economic development board. And he wanted me to do it over there, so. I mean, I could.
Are you getting the materials donated or
Yeah,
how many picnic tables are at Williams Field?
I don't know how many, but I know that was a topic for discussion that they were rotting. And I think they may have moved them around so that the bad ones were out behind the building, not being sat on, so that we would fall and sue us.
So Jack, we need 15 tables as well. We'll distribute them around the town.
So
Right.
I think that the idea behind Depot Park, this is happening with the same conversation, I haven't touched base with Tom, but we were trying to identify areas around town that needed some help. And Depot Park has become sort of a safety hazard. And we were hoping that one, if it were cleaned up and had some picnic tables, we could try to keep less favorable activity away from that area and make it a more appealing place for families to be able to stop along the rail trail. My concern, I had heard somewhere along the way that the state actually owns Depot Park, but
Yes.
not the town. So I'm wondering if Jack needs to get state approval for this project, or does it make sense for the board to recommend pivoting to a different location for this project?
I think it would be pretty good idea, I mean, if that's where you want to put them, I mean, I agree, we just had a new sign putting down there as well by the Main Street or Friends of Canaan, one of the two.
Yeah, and there were stipulations by the state
Where that could be.
where that could be. Probably should contact the rail trail board.
Steve,
Yeah,
this is Stella Butterfield. If I could input something here. Don Moyer of the New Hampshire Bureau of the Rail Trail has already been in touch with me. We've talked about this project and another possible project from another scout. So he is quite aware of what the scouts want to do down there for their Eagle projects.
okay,
And he's approved it through Friends of Canaan Village, because we've done some work we've had some work done down there too, as you know.
okay. And Cindy, you had something?
That's what I
Oh,
was
okay.
gonna say. I didn't.
Thanks, Stella.
Thanks.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay as long as, you know, where it falls under the Friends of the Chris had.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
When you were reading the report, Chet, I heard you about the reservoir. I heard you mention something about surveying. Is there money appropriated to do some surveying? It sounds like the select board isn't gonna meet for a little bit bigger span of time than we had. And I think this needs to be addressed as soon as we can.
Yeah, no, they're gonna start now, and it's technically part of the water intake project. I mean, we still have funds available for that, so it's all part of this design of the entire water system and its protection area. So we're verifying the protection area.
Okay, so we don't need any extra money
No.
paid by the board. And
No,
thank you.
Okay.
It's essentially reestablishing the boundaries of the reservoir. Because I do know on that jetty, somebody dismantled part of the marker out there, the stone marker. So it's going to be a matter, going to have to re-identify the actual points of boundary for that, which are all spelled.
Let's finish up one conversation before we start another, so. So I mean, I'm in agreement on the picnic tables. I think setting up as many family friendly areas in town is a positive thing, so. And the more they are set up is a positive thing, so. I think the Williams Field is a whole different discussion.
Yeah, I just thought,
So I'll make a
Makes
motion
sense.
that we accept that project.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Dan.
Congratulations on Eagle Scout as well. I know it's quite an accomplishment too, so. Hopefully, when do you turn 18?
January 19th.
Oh, you got a deadline here. All right, anything else for the board? Bob?
I saw on the newsletter, the Gristmill Hill Bridge was gonna be closed for paving, for apron preparation for paving.
Yeah.
How long is it gonna be closed?
You know,
only gonna be a couple of days. I mean.
no
a day
more
or
than
two.
a couple days.
But it's definitely gonna be closed Thursday night. That's what I'm trying to find out.
As it stands today.
Yeah,
You
so
know, that's subject to move based on paving, because we're gonna go in, prep it, and they're gonna come in and pave it right away behind us.
And that's all I need to know. We got Bible study up on Gristmill Hill Thursday night, so I gotta tell them go Ballpark Road. That was
okay.
my job to find out.
Okay.
So
See, they
plan
got
on it and give them extra time to get there.
Yeah, and we'll pray for you.
Thank you.
They've got to extend that southern end apron.
Oh, I'm good with all that. I just
Yeah, I'm
wanted to
just
know
saying,
that.
and then they're going to
Because it
pave.
said close Thursday, I didn't say how long.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't get all the details.
That's okay. I didn't know it was gonna be clear by 5 o'clock. The answer is no.
Oh, yeah, anything can happen, but I wouldn't expect it.
Anything else, other business? Yes, sir.
Sorry I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I had a couple of points about the plan for the new website.
Okay,
One, the initial project seemed like a reasonable plan, but the details in the estimate or in the proposal were very vague. And it wasn't clear what was actually going to be done. Like, are they recreating all of the existing pages in the new site, or is that left for?
they are,
towns?
my understanding is they're gonna move everything over onto the new platform.
Okay.
Obviously, it's gonna be, they have to bring it over, and then redesign it and make it so basically everything is within 3 clicks that you need on there, so.
Okay.
And you know, I've been on other towns that this company has produced, and they're heads and tails above ours, never
Yeah.
mind the backdoor stuff that we currently have to do to get stuff done on our website, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not a web designer, so I can't answer your specific questions, but
Yeah, no,
yeah,
the other item was that, while the initial cost seemed reasonable, the annual cost seemed a little high.
okay.
And whether, I was wondering whether that cost included additional support hours or development work.
It does include support each year for, basically, I mean, whenever we have a problem, we can call them up and have, they'll support us. And they keep it current for
ADA.
ADA, thank you.
Yeah.
Acronyms get me messed up. Okay, so, I mean, but if you know better, I mean, if you think it's too high, please, you know,
It's because it was only listed as hosting.
yeah,
But if they're including active support and stuff as well,
right.
that changes it a bit more.
I mean, we'll be doing the content, but if we have problems, my understanding is that we can call them up and they're there for us, so.
I pay
And the-
$260 a year, my website, by the way.
For just a,
I don't have that loss.
right, yeah. Are you ADA compliant?
Definitely not.
Ding, ding.
And it's something that's, in the States, so we can understand what they're saying and help us fix whatever it is that we boo-boos. Which is nice.
Thank you.
One
Yes.
thing I would encourage is to focus on not just uploading it, not just using it as a repository for PDFs, to focus on having text content as long-term, it would be better that way. It's easier to read on mobile phones, low bandwidth, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I'm sure Monica is always looking for assistance if you'd like to jump in and, provide some technical support and reasons why. I think she would appreciate it. So what's your name? I'm sorry.
Damien McKenna?
Damien, thank you. I know, we've gotten some help from other people in town, that kind of led us to this level too, so.
Does this include the migration to .gov? Not yet, right?
We're working on that.
What's that?
We're through,
Getting away from .org to go to .gov, and it's a higher
Okay,
protection.
.gov.
It's a much more secure system, much I'm sure you know.
Part of
It's a
the,
domain name.
pardon me?
It moving from .org to .gov is just a domain name.
Yes.
So they don't
Yes.
see. whether-
But the .gov it has a different set of rules, different sort of protection is my understanding, so. It's supposed to be a little more secure, it's not just your everyday company. I'm not a tech person, so I don't know it either.
Just get the details on that.
So I'm gonna put another shameless plug out there for cemetery trustees, and I've got two people that have shown interest, and we really need at least three, so.
Particularly in October,
Well,
good time of year.
to going forward, it'll be on the ballot for next year to reestablish the trustees, so. And again, looking for ideas how to get people signed up for the newsletter, because I think we're kind of lacking there right now too, so. All right,
One other quick thing.
sure.
Again, it was not covered on the meeting, I wasn't here, but, during the reading of the employment terms.
Non-employment terms, you're talking about the
Policy.
Code of ethics.
code of ethics?
Yeah,
Yep.
there was a specific policy on not allowing, firearms for anybody who wasn't specifically police force.
Yep.
What is the reason behind that? Is it legal or?
That was the first reading. We're making changes to it right now as we speak, and we're probably gonna actually incorporate it into another policy that we already have based on what the lawyer said. So I don't know how it's gonna shake out specifically for that, so.
And just so you know, that was basically something that we imported from another place. It wasn't, nobody specifically talked about adding that item.
Okay.
That's not something that the town initiated. It was in a policy that we borrowed as an example.
Step one.
Yes. But I would question if it is from the point of view of personal safety, if that is advisable to do versus allowing people who are trained to wield, as their member or employee or.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put some more thought into it, Damien. I mean, I'm not a real firm believer in firearms. I'm not against them, but I just, I don't know about the need of our town employees carrying them around with them either, so.
The issue,
Please.
one of the biggest issues at hand is that what becomes the liability to the town? Not the legal aspect of New Hampshire's right to carry, but when you allow an employee that is not police oriented or part of their job to open carry or concealed carry, what liability does the town accept at that point? Because are they trained to make sound judgment with it? That's what the legal side of it, the town has to deal with.
Any other business? Do we have anything for non-public? or
Just,
Yeah,
Short, okay. Make a motion,
motion to adjourn,
and go into non-public.
yes.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jack.